Next on Worcester News tonight, political fundraising numbers for the first quarter show the lieutenant governor is raising more money than some other big names. Plus, 300 Worcester volunteers are honored tonight for their work in the community. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. The tax deadline is a week away in Massachusetts, and if you haven't filed your taxes yet, you're not alone. The IRS is estimating it will receive more than 14 million extension requests this year, which equals to about 1 in 10 filers. Dr. Satya Mitra says the large amount of people asking for an extension doesn't surprise him. He says the changes were made to simplify the tax laws and forms, but he sees clients finding them more difficult and complex. Dr. Mitra says it's better to file an extension and do your taxes correctly instead of rushing and making mistakes.
Filing an extension is the best thing that one can do because you want to file an accurate return and not just be in rush and do mistakes and error, because if IRS catches it, at that time you'll have to pay penalty, interest on the amount that you still owe. So I suggest extension is a good idea.
Dr. Mitra says some people think if they file later, they're more likely to be audited. He says it's not true. He says a majority of audits are picked by April 15th. One of the country's largest banks announcing Tuesday it will be raising the minimum wage for its employees over the next 2 years. Starting May 1st, Bank of America will raise their hourly rate to $17 and then raise it to $20 in 2021. The bank says it will also freeze health care cost increases for lower paid workers. The last time they raised their minimum wage was 2 years ago to $15 an hour. Massachusetts Lieutenant Governor Karyn Polito has raised roughly twice the amount of money as Governor Charlie Baker so far in 2019. According to the state's Office of Campaign and Political Finance, Polito brought in more than $237,000 in campaign donations during the first quarter of the year, compared to Governor Baker's $116,000. Polito's total is nearly 3 times larger than her first quarter of 2015. When asked whether or not the increase in donations meant anything, the lieutenant governor said she's excited to continue her public service.
Tremendous amount of support for our candidacies and the work that we're doing, bipartisan support, and also a belief in the way we are approaching our work in government.
Baker and Polito were inaugurated for their second term in January, which runs through 2022. Engineering firm Stein Hudson officially opens their new office in downtown Worcester Tuesday. The Boston-based company works in a variety of fields, including traffic engineering, construction services, and transportation planning. The firm has worked on dozens of developments across the state, including the new MGM Springfield. They say they wanted to be a part of the growth here in Worcester and throughout central Massachusetts.
Follows the puck. A great hockey player anticipates where the puck's going to be. And you're anticipating where it's going and the momentum that's underway. As I mentioned, the ballpark is just one great example of the economic activity that's taking place.
Stein's Worcester office is their third location. The others are in Boston and in Chelmsford. Worcester honors people who give back to the city at a special ceremony Tuesday. April 7th through the 13th is National Volunteer Week, which celebrates the impact of voluntary service on local communities. Whether it was helping out at the library or servicing at the city's senior center, hundreds of people were recognized for their deeds. Our Cam Jandros live in Worcester tonight with more. Cam?
Anna, today was about recognizing the everyday person who goes the extra mile to make sure Worcester is a better place, whether it be helping out a local nonprofit or even just making sure the city of Worcester stays clean. Doug Arbetter has served on the Worcester Community Development Advisory Committee for more than 3 years. The group of volunteers helps find community needs and assists with local projects and services.
We support programs like Friendly House, Rachel's Table, they give out milk to other organizations.
Arbetter was one of 300 people recognized in the city Tuesday for their contributions to Worcester in 2018. Volunteers helped maintain city parks, clean city streets, and served on local boards and commissions.
If it wasn't for the volunteers, we probably couldn't do the work that we're doing. And it's a good family effort here in the city that we all work together to make the city a better place.
The ceremony comes during National Volunteer Week. Established in 1974 by President Richard Nixon, the annual celebration urges Americans to give time to their communities.
Government can't do it by themselves, and we have a lot of dedicated people that make the city a better place.
It's good to recognize everyone because, it is volunteer. No one's required to do it, and it's a good experience.
Now, the city of Worcester says it's nearly impossible to get all 300 people under the same roof at the same time, but they were able to get a decent amount of them under the roof tonight. Live in Worcester tonight, I'm Kim Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
An artist is giving back to a Worcester organization with a new splash of color. Powwow artist Alice Mizrahi says she spent time with Girls at Girls Inc. gathering inspiration for this mural. She painted it across the wall of the nonprofit's gymnasium. Mizrahi says she stuck to the Girls Inc. beliefs of being strong, smart, and bold.
So bold means unapologetic. I think it really means coming forth who you are without any kind of hesitation or inhibition. And this week I really got to witness that with the girls. They're so themselves without being unapologetic, and it's just amazing to see them come out here in the gym and be like, we're bold.
Mizrahi says it was an honor to be at Girls Inc. and be a role model for all of the girls. The Red Sox are back in Boston for their home opener. Many fans from central Massachusetts took the commuter rail in to see the big game. They say today's weather didn't stop them from celebrating what they consider the real start of spring. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
For these Red Sox fans, going to the home opener is a tradition.
I go every year.
Well, I've been going for the last, 15 years or so.
We've been going to opening day as many years in a row as we can.
But they say this time it's a little sweeter. They hopped in the commuter rail to witness the World Series champions receive their rings.
It's always a rocking atmosphere.
John McCarthy has been a Red Sox fan his whole life, but this will be his first opening day.
Couldn't be more excited.
Although some say the game is an unofficial start to spring, fans had to layer up. Diehard fan Kate Goff says the cold wasn't stopping her.
Always cold. You either get sunburned, you get rained on, you might sit in snow. It's all go. You go.
Some fans who couldn't make it to the game watched it on the big screens at Quinn's Irish Pub.
City of Champions. Why not?
Goff says New England is spoiled when it comes to winning championships and knows the Sox can pull it off again this year.
This is just the greatest town in the world for sports. Are you kidding me? World Series, Super Bowl, on the mound today. Epic.
Unfortunately, the Sox did lose, so it looks like there may be some unhappy fans headed back on the train tonight, but it is a long season and fans remain optimistic. In Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A residential program for teenage girls working on recovery is closing its doors effective immediately. The Highland Grace House serviced girls ages 13 through 17 and had been in service since 2006. Its parent organization, Community Health Link, cites underutilization as the reason for closing. The mental health provider says in the last 3 years, the average use of the program declined to less than half of its capacity. The president says in a statement, while it's hard to close one program, we will continue to operate our effective youth servicing community-based programs. Many high school students have a lot on their plates. A local group says participating in positive mental health practices like mindfulness can help students handle stress. Tuesday, dozens gathered at St. John's High School with the Shine Initiative to learn more about mental health awareness. Our Brittany Schaefer explains.
Dozens of students from across central Massachusetts taking part in the Shine Initiative's Healthy Frames of Mind Summit. The event teaches kids they aren't alone.
Knowing what to do if you suffer from mental illness, but also knowing how to support each other around making mental wellness also a normal thing.
This day is like shattering the stigma and joining the conversation and actually talking about these topics.
The students are part of Shine Initiative's student wellness advisory teams, which empower students to become mental wellness advocates in their schools.
It's an issue that I really care about, and it's important that we send a message to other students that, they're not alone.
It helps me at the very least, being able to share coping mechanisms, some that might not have worked for me but work for other people, breathing techniques when I get into stressful situations.
Grafton High School senior Rachel Tabachnik suffers from anxiety. She says it's great to be able to speak with others going through the same issues.
This session hit Kind of close to home, I'm going off to college, and because I do struggle with anxiety, OCD, depression, it's tough being away from my family, and definitely hearing how other people deal with these issues is helpful.
According to the Shine Initiative, 50% of all mental illness begin by age 14. Executive Director Fred Karyn says it's important to address mental wellness at a young age.
When you're a teen, so much is going on, so much change is happening anyway, and you're navigating social life and all of these things, and then high school and then college. But also there's tons that's going on in our brains, and so much, about our minds is developing. And the topic is at a point where, young people in schools want to engage with it, which is wonderful.
Karyn says the Shine Initiative is currently partnered with 36 schools across central Massachusetts, and they're expanding statewide. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.